I always felt that for the most part, most bad things we inflict upon ourselves come from a place of fear and laziness. Oftentimes, that's the only formulation that allows me to make sense of things. Most people are lazy and afraid. Fear. Fear is a very strong motivator, one of the best, the OG of getting people moving. And it makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint. How else would you survive if you wouldn't be able to assess threats accurately and act accordingly? Fear is useful. Instinctive fear helps us survive, and we're very fortunate to have that. What is unfortunate, though, is when we misuse this otherwise wonderful tool. For instance, when we use fear as an excuse to do or, crucially, not do something. We are thankfully out of the food chain, for now, at least. Although there's an ever-growing number of things that can hurt us physically, we needn't worry about peckish saber-toothed tigers wandering around the neighborhood looking for a midnight snack. The world is objectively better and safer today than it ever was. And it's changing and evolving at a much faster rate than our brains are capable to match. So, fear, it's a great survival tool. A perfect tool for assessing and gauging. But fear is fickle. It can prevent you from acting on things when you absolutely know you should. And on the other hand, it can strongly motivate you to keep repeating the same patterns over and over. And that's just it. The purview of fear is finite. It can only get you so far. Decisions made out of fear have little agency. When you act out of fear, you're preserving, protecting, avoiding a potential threat. What if the threat isn't a threat but an opportunity? And what if the thing you are so vehemently clinging onto is simply obsolete? A present fear strives to preserve the status quo. A future theoretical fear is always preventative. And again, let's assume there is common sense involved here. We should use it to minimize the possibility of tragic outcomes. However, how often did we fight for things that were not worth it, or actively resisted wonderful things? Fear is subjective and not constructive in the full sense of the word. You can't create and build great new things out of fear. This is, of course, my humble, personal take on this. So let's say, without getting into deep on it, that the alternative would be acting and making things out of love. I know my own blood sugar levels are spiking just from saying that. In a troubled and grisly and pragmatic world, this does sound a little bit too much like a re-gifted motivational poster. It can sound a bit stale. I get it. Doesn't mean it's not worth it, though. Also, let's assume, and we all know this from experience, that acting in love is hard. It's challenging, it's complex, and confusing at times. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of practice. And sometimes, even those closest to you will resist and challenge you. So it's very easy to be lazy and act on your fears. It's very easy. And it makes all the sense in the world. Zero extra effort needed. These sorts of actions and decisions, they come pre-packaged, factory-made, mass-produced. Acting in love, acting in a properly constructive and creative way, now that's a handmade product. It takes time and skill. And just like we know a home-cooked meal is the right choice over mass-produced junk and is objectively better for us long-term, we all know what's right and comes from a place of love. Always. Because it's hard and daunting, and it's so easy to go for the junk. But we all know home-cooked with love is always better. Just takes a bit of time and effort.